Worth the War. My name is Kimmy. The purpose of Worth the War is preparing people for healthy love and relationship and how to avoid abuse. To help bring up the generation behind us that's got a better shot at love and relationship than we did. We've spent more time learning how to drive than we learned how to love, and that's a pretty important thing. So let's dig into this new series, which is videos on the lies about love. And some of these lies are just blended into our culture. So let's take the peeling off a little bit and look at some ways that we look at love and see how if we rethink them, we might actually be able to help people have healthier relationships, raise up the generation behind us to have healthier relationships, and at the end of all of it, be able to see things as they actually are. The second lie about love that we're going to cover in this series is that happily ever after is a place. There's a reason that 90% of romantic comedies, romantic movies end with the couple finally finding each other. You know, it's woven in with this I call the first lie of love, that love is about feelings. And then there's another lie that love is magical. So you have all these different things that are spinning around, and at the end of the movie, everything works out, falls into place, and you just picture that that's the happily ever after. It's kind of the same reason that the wedding industry is $70+ billion. It's because we replace what our idea of love is with this idea of finding the right person and then finally starting our life together. The problem is that our expectations are such that when we get there, when we finally find the person, we think of happily ever after as a place. The danger of this kind of mentality is that when we get to a place, what do? When we get to a restaurant or a vacation spot, we rest, we sit, we let life happen, we just enjoy it. That is not the hallmark or the blueprint for a healthy relationship that will carry you into the decades ahead. When we go into it with that attitude, it is only a matter of time when the blush of attraction and just the newness of everything and opening up all our new wedding gifts starts to fade, and what we have left is actually the person that we're going to journey real life with, the person that we're going to deal with the struggles of life. And if we build a family, it's even going to add layers of some of those struggles and difficulties. That doesn't make it less beautiful. Actually, I believe more magical. But when we go into it with the wrong attitude, what it does is dull. Because if we think it's a place, if we think it's just a location, it's a destination, then we're going to be disappointed when we realize that what it really is that we've put away the wedding gifts, we've put away the honeymoon pictures, and now this is the real deal. And what is left is us journeying through the highs and lows together. That attraction is replaced. It still exists, but it is replaced with something way more enduring, which is the joy of the journey. After all, happily ever after really is supposed to be about the fact that we've got somebody to experience life with. That when something comes along, whether it's good or bad, we've got someone along on our side, somebody that will have our back when we're not able to cover the whole 360 of who we are and where we're experiencing life. And somebody that can, when we fall down, can lift us up, and if they fall, we can lift them up, and our mutual strengths can actually create a union that will endure. Those kinds of things just simply aren't the things that people talk about. They talk about finding the right kind of person, finding the right person that has the right interests, that likes to do the same things. That's beautiful. Compatibility, incredible. Attraction, amazing. But really, what makes a relationship last for decades, it's appreciating the fact that you have someone to share it with. And you will change, and they will change, and you will not always be compatible in all the ways that you are when you first choose each other. So let's really step back and ask ourselves, what are some practical things we can do to make sure that we don't set the little hearts that follow us up to think that everything's over when we finally find the right person? So here are two really simple things we can do to prepare the kids in our circle, maybe your children, or maybe just kids that are in your family or your neighborhood, to have healthier relationships and to be able to avoid abuse. And one of those things is just point out how nice it is when someone comes alongside and helps you, even in the boring and mundane things. You're out pruning and they help you. You're sweeping stuff up and they bring the dustpan. Point it out. It may be in an extended family. It may be in the car back from your sister, and their marriage was one that you could point out to your kids. Wasn't that cool when he came and helped her, and vice versa? The other thing that we can really do is we can point out when there are struggles, how the journey is still worth it. I've many times pointed out, we were frustrated with each other. Your dad and I were frustrated with each other, but you know what? That's just, he probably had a bad day, or he was tired, or I was just grumpy and I shouldn't have been. Pointing out the realities of life sometimes is much more powerful than pointing out the ivory tower kinds of views of love and relationship, because that way, when those kinds of things happen, that won't surprise them either. Because let's face it, love is magical, it is beautiful, it is wonderful, but it is also reality, and if it's going to last into the decades, we're going to have to be prepared for both. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here on this little channel. It means the world. I would love it if you would please consider subscribing and liking this video and helping to engage with it. Nothing would make me happier than to know that a few people's hearts were changed or shifted, and that we could possibly do some good in helping the generations that will follow us have healthier relationships and avoid abuse. Thanks for taking the time again. I hope you have a great rest of your day.